Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last episode of the SJD Show, where I was talking about anything and everything that I found interesting, usually from the trifecta of Formula One, Eurovision, and Doctor Who. From next week, the show will be changing to Doctor Who Revision. We will be dropping the Formula One section and potentially the What I'm Up To section at the end, but we will see. So, yeah, next week we will be changing to Doctor Who Revision. This is the last episode of the SJD Show. Uh, as such, today's show is just going to be a bit of a news roundup and a bit of a Sean roundup. Was going to cover the first season of Doctor Who today, but we will do that next week instead. So, news from the past couple of weeks then. Going into this weekend's Chinese Grand Prix, we will start with Formula One. So the Japanese Grand Prix itself was more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, another Max domination win, but hey ho. Really good racing from Yuki, which was nice to see. He's kind of cemented for me that he should be staying in that RB seat, and Daniel Ricciardo should be gone pretty soon, and Liam Lawson should be going in there because Daniel is just. He's just nowhere. Really good racing from Carlos and Checo as well. Really good racing from Carlos and Checo, actually. Up on the podium with Max. Really good stuff from Formula One. I mean, if he keeps up the form, I think Checo probably will stay in Red Bull. And Carlos, I mean, potentially to Mercedes, but I reckon he's been courted by Audi for 2026. So I reckon he'll go to Sauber in 2025 with Hulkenberg. Probably freeing up, space at Haas for Ollie Behrman. Yeah, so I reckon the driver line for 2025 then, obviously Ferrari we've got confirmed as Charles and Hamilton. Aston Martin we've got confirmed with Alonso. McLaren we've got confirmed as Norris and Piastri. So I think joining George in the Mercedes could be Esteban Ocon. If he can outperform Gasly this year, he has those ties to Mercedes. It would certainly be a big step up from Alpine, but obviously we'd be putting him in a front running car. If Mercedes think they're probably only going to be midfield for the next couple of years, they probably will put in Antonelli, but I still don't think he's particularly great. Ferrari, of course, Charles and Hamilton, Red Bull, Verstappen. I reckon Perez will probably keep that seat now. RB, like I said, I think Yuki and Lawson should be the two in there pretty soon. Haas, they'll keep Magnussen, probably put in Ollie Behrman. Williams, obviously Alex Albon, and someone, just not Logan Sargent. It'll be somebody in F2. There is someone in my mind, but I can't remember who it was. Yeah. Aston Martin desperately need to drop Lance Stroll. Desperately. So Alonso and they need to get Drogovic in that car. Especially now that Alonso's staying for 2 more years. I think 25, 26, you put Drogovic, you put somebody else other than Lance in the car. Sauber, like I said, Carlos and Hulkenberg. Alpine, Gasly, probably Ocon, unless he does decide to move. McLaren staying, obviously, Norris and Piastri. But who knows? Who knows? The fact that Alonso is staying with Aston Martin to the end of 2026 is pretty telling. That means that he will be driving the Honda engine again, which he so famously hated back in the day. So clearly he's thinking 25 is a transitional year, and he'll see something from Honda that makes him think that maybe 2026 he has a chance at the championship with Aston Martin. Maybe he's been promised that Lance Stroll will stay there because Lance is fucking useless, but hey ho, we'll see. Eurovision news then. So Switzerland is now topping the bookies' favourite. I reckon it'll probably win the jury vote, but I'm not convinced about the public vote. However, yeah, I don't reckon it's a two-way fight between Italy and Croatia anymore. I think Switzerland and the Netherlands are probably in there. At least I thought so. But the OGAE results currently have Italy and Croatia at the top, separated by 1 point, which I think is pretty accurate. Switzerland in third, accurate. France in fifth, makes sense. Brilliant song. Netherlands only down in 11th. So, I mean, the Netherlands isn't exactly going to do that well with the juries, I wouldn't imagine. But to see it doing so badly with the OGAE is surprising. The UK is in 14th, just ahead of Israel. Denmark in 18th, which is, pretty good. It was announced very recently, actually, that they will be introducing something called the Producer's Choice for the final. So what's happened every year since 2013 when they introduced the producers actually creating the running order is they've gone, you still draw the first half and the second half, and then the producers pick. Now, 6 countries will be drawn for the first half, 6 countries will be drawn for the second half, and the remaining 13 or 12 countries will go into a pot called Producer's Choice. So they will have a lot more free reign to create the show. I don't disagree with that. I don't hate that. I think the more freedom they have, the better. I think obviously you have to keep your host country random, and the fact that they're opening, whoever they follow, yeah, I think that's not the worst idea in the world. I mean, Sweden do like to fiddle with it whenever they can. I do think having them draw the first half and the second half is was fine. I think that was good. So I was surprised to see them make another little tweak to that, but hey ho, it's what they do. Doctor Who news then. Was an interview with Shudi Gatwa just talking about his anxiety in the role and how the first couple of weeks of filming he was like, why the hell, why'd you cast me? Now when I first read the headline, it was painted as more of a because of the color of his skin sort of thing, which is why I clicked it to be like, nah, like no way, and no, literally no way. He literally just doubted his ability as an actor, which after seeing just how stunning he is in Church and Ruby Road and the giggle, when I found that out, I literally talked to my wife and was like, bless him, he has nothing to worry about. He in an episode with David Tennant and Neil Patrick Harris, Shitagawa was the best thing about that episode. So he stole the show and my heart. We've also got confirmation that Varda Sethu is the new companion for season 2. She is not replacing Millie Gibson, as had been reported in the press. I actually saw a Doctor Who. I watched a little bit of a Doctor Who podcast this morning, actually, where they were talking about this announcement and they were slating like, oh, how why is it being announced at this point? Oh, it's just, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you do it now? Like, why not? Like, what? Sometimes things force your hand. Millie Gibson was getting battered in the press, being, told, oh, you're definitely leaving and, oh, you've been replaced after only one season. So at that point, you cobble together something to say, look, no, she's not. Yes, she is the new companion. Obviously, Russell would try and keep that secret for as long as possible, but, hey ho, things happen. And it was just a shame to watch another podcast and have people shit on Doctor Who in such a weird way. Like, you're literally shitting over an announcement. Like, get a grip, guys. I'm obviously not going to name what the podcast was. That's not fair. Suffice to say, it was shameful. Like, I take the piss out of Doctor Who a lot, absolutely, but it's done with absolute love and joy and passion for this incredible show. And that people are shitting on Russell T Davies already. He's not even properly back yet. Like, people are kicking up arms about how awful By Generation is and how bad it is that Davros is now walking again. And oh my god, like, oh, you can't have David Tennant wearing women's clothes. That's just bad. Like, these are all things that just don't matter. They just don't matter. Right, fine. So if the reason that Russell T Davies didn't want David Tennant wearing Jodie's outfit was some bizarre belief that would be taking the mick out of women. I mean, did he watch the episode where Sasha Dowan wears Jodie's outfit and looks incredible? Like, that was stupid. And if that is his actual reasoning, very very dumb. Um, do I think that's the real reasoning? No. I think that's part one of we're increasing fantasy. This happened the first time around and it's no one's batted an eyelid. Like, no one mentioned it in the press. No one mentioned it in the show. No one's mentioned it. No one's actually mentioned it. It's like no one gives a shit. No one actually cares. But the proper I say proper Hoovians that love the show, not Hoovians that love to hate the show. Like myself, who love the show, not love to hate it. I love the show with all my heart. Um, I'm sitting going, how interesting. That happened the first time the Doctor regenerated. His clothes changed. I wonder why it happened this time as well. Very interesting. And he went back to an old face. Oh, because I remember at the time thinking, oh, maybe the Toymaker's got something to do with that. And they never address it. All there is, and all you need, is David Tennant's, is the Doctor's reaction of, wait, what the hell? How did my clothes shit? Oh my god, am I? Wait, what? Ah, what's going on? And it's almost like there's more important things going on. Anyway, yeah, so amazing that Varda is going to be the new companion. Nice to see that Shoot is going to get two. Whether they'll be concurrent or whether they'll be, kind of an episode here or there, it's irrelevant. I have full faith that the series is going to be incredible. Although I know that a lot of Doctor Who fans are upset about it already. And that's the end of the news. Now, let us say, normally this would be the part where we go into the main podcast, which was going to be the very first season of Doctor Who. So a little kind of teaser, I guess, for next week for the first episode of Doctor Who Revision. We will be going over season one, just kind of talking about the Doctor, how the Doctor begins and evolves, how the companions kind of begin and evolve. The producers as well, script editors, the title sequences, the logos, themes. These are all the things we're going to cover in the season. I wouldn't say season review, I would say season overview. Then, of course, we'll go through the episodes bit by bit. The writers that did which writers wrote them, which directors directed them. Synopsises of the episodes, the main villain, any interesting cast and any interesting information, including ratings and the audience appreciation index, and then my actual opinions of the episodes as we go. Now, it has been a while since I watched a lot of these, and I've actually just finished season 5 of Doctor Who. And the last episode on that, The Wheel in Space, is just the most boring, pathetic pile of crap I've ever. I skimmed it. It's the first episode. I've watched all 5 seasons of these episodes. Season 5 is the one where I was tuning out, as were actual British public at the time. I see why. Then the end of The Wheel in Space is like the way they introduce the new companion is just the most ham-fisted, ridiculous, stupid. Like Zoe, and I've never seen it before, so I've never really thought about it. But Zoe comes in and is like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna come with you. Oh, are you sure? Yeah, I'd want to. Let me just put on this helmet that will show you what a Dalek looks like killing someone, and then see if you still want to come." And then you see a Dalek killing someone, and that's the Dalek, the only appearance of the Dalek, that season. Uh, and then it cuts to Zoe's face, and the episode just ends. Like, it's just the shittest, weirdest, like, oh, maybe she won't stay, maybe she will. Well, of course she will. Like, what? She's in the TARDIS, these guys are fucked off. You've just seen some rando get killed by a Dalek, but the Doctor's imagining, oh, it's just awful, 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 awful. Also, fucking Cybermen and eggs. Like, what on earth were they thinking? Like, literally, the clips that I saw a big thing, and there was a Cyberman growing in an egg, and I'm just like, nah, this is utter tripe. When I come to read the synopsis, and when we actually do season 5 as a whole, for one of the podcasts in many weeks time, I'm sure I will come to understand and see what's going on. But it's the Wheel in Space is the first episode I've given a 0 out of 10, because it's I can have the gunfighters on in the background at least. I couldn't even do that with Wheel in Space. It was just god awful. Which brings me on to what I'm watching, actually. So what Sean's up to. This is a segment that might disappear soon as well. We'll see. Basically, we tried to watch Crazy Stupid Love. It was crap. We tried to watch Wish. It was heartbreakingly crap. Halfway through season 7 of The Walking Dead, which has just got even more amazing than I thought possible. Like I said, finished Food for the Deep, watched Wheel in Space. Food for the Deep was crap as well. Been rewatching Top Gear, just on the Winter Olympics, and we got a Veyron episode, and Faulty Towers we started rewatching as well. Love Faulty Towers. Playing Klonoa 2, finished the first one. Started the second one, it's basically just more of the same. Started Final Fantasy 12. It's a little better than I remember. Now that I'm, because I love Final Fantasy 14, and I love that kind of MMORPG style of gameplay. I'm a bit more on board with Final Fantasy 12 than I was. I also played Ace Attorney, which was an incredible game. And for the first two or three chapters of like a 5 chapter game, and then it just became a fucking point and click adventure quest, and nothing really mattered. And I was like, fine. And Nuzlocke wise, I think the last one of these I did, I was like, oh, I just started silver and I just did this thing, and then I died the second I finished recording. Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Diamond, all failed. I'm now on Ruby. I've just got to Hearthhome, um, which I'm quite happy with. Like, and I've just lost my starter, which is sad, and I lost a Starly early on. But so far, it's probably the strongest start I've had to a Nuzlocke. Uh, not including a Fire Red, not including the Fire Red one from a while back. But yeah, that's it. That is the end of the SJD show. Very, like I said, very quick one. Just kind of wrapping some stuff up. Next week we'll be back to more sizable podcasts, actually covering topics and whatnot. News will be a bit more in depth because obviously not covering Formula One anymore. So, Eurovision news, Doctor Who news, the actual podcast, and then we will see. In terms of playing and watching, we'll see. Oh, I also watched another Eurovision, 1958, which was a bit torturous, to be fair. Eurovision's only 3 in and it's starting to get tough. But it opens with like one of the most famous songs in the world, let alone Eurovision songs, which is fun. Yeah, so thank you everyone for listening to the SJD show for the past few months. Really appreciate it. I think the channel on YouTube especially has done a lot better than I was expecting it to. To be over 1,000 subscribers after only a couple of months is kind of begs belief. For those listening to it, on Spotify or however you get your podcast, big thank you to you guys as well. Yeah, just thank you for listening. Obviously it will switch to Doctor Who revision. For the first couple, I will probably just put in brackets. Used to be the SJD show, just so that people migrate over, come along, and realize it's still the same show. We're just dropping the Formula One bit, and potentially what Sean's up to a bit, to make just to make a much more concise podcast that isn't an hour and a half long every week, because it's not it's tough to record, it's tough to edit, it's tough to research to do that, and I'm also trying to increase how many YouTube videos I'm doing every week as well, because those are things which I find really interesting and really kind of fun to put together. Like I'm still doing the Doctor's outfits. The third Doctor one has taken me a long time. Just because there's so many. And trying to actually like accurately describe what it all is. So when I did the podcast for the Doctor outfits, it was just oh, look at this, it's this thing, and then move on. Whereas I want the videos to be I want the videos to be one of those where I could watch it in 5 years time and go, oh god, yeah, oh look at that, oh wow, oh goodness, oh man. So yeah. Anyway, you can of course still get in touch on YouTube in the comment sections. Do like, subscribe, comment, all the above stuff. You can still get me at the SJD Show podcast at gmail.com for the next few weeks. While I'm still waiting back to hear from Penguin Publishing about reading some Doctor Who novels, which I do still plan on doing. I'm still editing Aladdin. It's 2 hours long and it takes a long time to get through. Yeah, there's a big thank you to the generally hundreds of people that have been listening, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed Doctor Who Revision when that starts next week. But until then, take care, everyone.